Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode, the last episode of 2020, of this series in 2020. Let's talk about it. And when was the last time we talked about something?
I think about 2 months ago or 3 months ago.
Yeah, it felt like a very long time ago.
Yes.
I have been very busy. Sangeeta have been very busy, and somehow it's time for another episode. So welcome everyone. Good evening. So, Sangeeta, do you want to start?
Yes, of course. I wanted to start this episode with a complete acknowledgement for you, Ryan. Thank you so much for jumping onto, just listening to the whispers of the energy and jumping onto this series. Because yesterday, when I announced it in my group, the amount of gratitude that was flowed to me for doing this series with you and what everyone has been receiving from this series, it just broke my heart open. So I wanted to say thank you to you and of course to everybody who joins us invariably in every series and has so much feedback to give us, and I'm so grateful for doing this, and I really wonder what this is going to look like in 2021. But not only has it contributed to me individually in so many ways, but it is also one of the few times that I learned to work with someone else. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. What do you mean work with someone else? You never work with other people?
I meant like co-create, procreate with someone else. I've done a lot of times, but co-create.
Thank you. All right. So, hi. So tonight the topic is ending 2020 with acknowledgement of you. Okay. So just now Sangeeta acknowledged something about me, and at the same time about herself. Yeah. So ending 2020 with acknowledgement of you and for you, right? Is that the right title?
Yes, that's the right title.
So everyone,
I'm glad the text didn't make your head fuzzy.
Well, my head is fuzzy because of whatever happened before this Zoom, before we record. Okay, so those of you that missed that part, all right.
I'm glad
I will tell you what happened.
Yeah. So basically, if you don't get anything out of this Zoom and you were here like the first 10 minutes that we didn't record, sex makes everything clear. So have more of it.
Okay. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about how I got this, the first idea of this acknowledgement thing. So normally at the end of the year, a lot of people, they judge themselves because you will be looking at your life like, oh my God, it's December. I've wasted 12 months. And then you go into wrongness. And not only that, a lot of other people will do the same as well. And how many of you perceive that energy from other people? You perceive this energy like, oh, I need to review my 2020. I need to see what have I done wrong. Okay, how many of you perceive that? So I talked about this with a group of people earlier this month, and then I noticed that it's not only me that I perceive that, a lot of people perceive that as well. And then after that, I think a few days ago, I spoke to Sangeeta and I said, yeah, what about this title? And then it pings for her as well. That's why we are doing it now. And I have a question for all of you. When was the last time you acknowledged something you did like an achievement? I don't mean like you killed someone like a bad thing, but an achievement. When was the last time you acknowledged something about you? Like 2001? Yeah. So most people are so used to judging themselves for what they didn't do right, but they never consider that they have at the same time done a lot of great things. So earlier this month, at first I was judging myself as well, because when I perceived the energy from other people, I forgot to ask who does that belong to. So I was like, oh, I didn't do this right. And then after a while, I was like, shit, that's not mine. And then I realized a lot of people are doing that. And then after I returned all those yucky energy, I felt a lot better. And then I was like, something's still missing here. Oh, and that missing thing is self-acknowledgement. And then suddenly I look back at the entire year, and then I realized, oh, wow, I actually created a lot. When I say a lot, I'm like, seriously a lot. So, but sometimes you don't see it that way. So this is what we can talk about tonight. So hopefully you will learn to acknowledge you. And okay, and for the rest of you, feel free to ask any questions. If you have any questions, throw it to me. If I don't want to answer, I will throw it to Sangeeta. That's how we work. That's why she said she's learning to work with someone. Okay, that's what she meant.
So, thank you so much, Ryan, for starting that off on that note. I was also looking at like these last few days of December, like how many of us are actually going like, oh, freak, this has been quite a year. It's been nothing like, all the years that we have had up until now. It's been like so different because of the lockdown, because of Corona. Ever since March, like we've been pushed beyond what we thought was possible for ourselves. We've had to dig into resources that we didn't know we had. We had to do things so differently. For most of us who were traveling, we were stuck at home. For those that got stuck traveling out, were alone without their families. And then there were people who didn't spend so much time with their families and they found themselves stuck all at home and had to relearn how to relate to each other from that point of view. So for me, this year has been such a long year of like learning and unlearning. And also, you're right, very often we don't stop to acknowledge who we be or what we've chosen or how much we've created. And this last month, like when the year is about to turn, it's all about, in this reality, it's all about making new resolutions. It's all about fixing what wasn't handled. It's about doing everything better. And I remember one morning waking up and like really, really just wanting someone to cuddle me and tell me that I've not done such a bad job. And then I realized that, oh, this is the moment where I'm supposed to like actually ask, what haven't I acknowledged about me? And as soon as I asked that question, like, what beyond this reality acknowledgement can I give to me? There was so much space that got created. So maybe we can start this call with like just asking, like, guys, what have you not acknowledged yourself for that you could acknowledge yourself for right now, today, with all of us? And I was doing this series of energy pulls, and I realized that when we come together as a group, like everything gets amped up. So what can we also acknowledge for each other? If you're here, you've you've done far better than anybody else, than most people at least. I can safely say that. So a huge
Yes,
congratulations to
definitely.
everybody for that.
All right. So I don't even know where to go with this at this moment. Wait, hold on. Someone says 2020 is an amazing year, one of the best. Yes, I agree. I actually enjoyed this year a lot. And then it always feels so wrong whenever I say that I enjoyed this year a lot. People will look at me like, "What do you mean? Are you crazy? Do you not care about all these things happening outside?" Yes, I don't care as much, right? Actually, so. Wait, someone just unmuted herself? Okay. And then she says, Ryan and Sangeeta, and of course, special thanks to Fana. Yeah, cool. Fana is someone that, if you acknowledge her, she probably wouldn't receive. Okay, just for the record. So
No,
Fana
I'm here. I'm driving.
Fana is my class host, and Fana also hosts classes for Sangeeta and some other amazing facilitators. And I'm very sure whenever we say something good about her, she's like, no, 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 no. Okay, so a lot of us, we are not used to acknowledging ourselves. We are also not used to receiving acknowledgement from other people. So, for example, when you on your way growing up, when you did something great, usually you didn't get acknowledgement. When you did something wrong, like one small mistake, that's one small mistake will be enlarged. That will be the main focus. So you could have done 1,000 things, but because of one mistake, the other 1,000 things that you did great didn't get acknowledgement, it feel like it's not value. They are not valuable at all. Okay, so maybe at first you got this, you were treated this way, and then you got used to this energy, this vibration, and then you start to treat yourself this way. So everything that brings up, everywhere that all of you, you need to, you have been trying hard to make everything perfect, to make you not wrong, to prove you are good. Uh, and then if there's one mistake, it's the end of the world. Will you please destroy and credit all? Right, wrong, good and bad, pop and pot, all nine shots, voice and beyonds. Okay. So just now Sangeeta mentioned that words like acknowledgement beyond this reality. Do you want to say more about that? What do you mean, Sangeeta? What do you mean beyond this reality? What's the difference between acknowledgement in this reality and beyond this reality?
So, in my interesting point of view, when we acknowledge someone in this reality, it's more like from a space of validation. So, it's more from the space of proving someone right or wrong. So, when you validate someone for being right, it is considered a validation, it's considered an acknowledgement. But what I'm talking about is what if you weren't right when you weren't wrong? You just were, and you could acknowledge yourself for choosing what worked for you, and it didn't have to be right or wrong, so it wasn't even significant, but it was just like, oh my god, okay, how does it get any better than this? Oh cool, I did this, I did this, I did this. Also, thank you, Ryan, for saying, you spoke about how in childhood we learn not to acknowledge ourselves. Like from my personal experience, every time I acknowledged myself as a kid, I was made to feel like I'm being a snob or too proud, and that I'm only talking about myself. So many times when I did something that I was proud of or did something that made me happy, my instant go to was to hide it and not talk about it, because I didn't want anyone to call me a snob or too proud, or also, I while talking to you, this is also coming up, that when we do something that makes us happy or when it expands our life, uh, in our culture, at least in India, and I know that some part of Southeast Asia also, we're asked to hide it, because otherwise it will get, you'll get bad vibrations. Like someone will jinx it or hex it. So we learn to even hide that. And the interesting thing is, when you start hiding it from everyone else, you also start hiding it from yourself. So it doesn't even become available. That space doesn't become available to you. So everywhere you are doing that or have done that, and everywhere it's an autopilot for you to do that, will you please destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and
Right,
wrong,
wrong,
good
good
and
and
bad,
bad,
pop
pop
and
and
pot,
pot,
all
all
nine
nine
shots,
shots,
boys
boys
and
and
beyonds.
beyonds. Okay,
Cool.
so um, I actually don't know what to say. All right, so this is kind of strange because I'm constantly checking on all of you, like, okay, what are you up to? What's up in your world? And I'm like, uh, I can't get anything. So
Maybe I can ask a question that might open up a space. So, what does acknowledgement mean to everyone on this call? Like, what I know that you guys came on this call because you love the Let's Talk About It episodes and you love Ryan and you love me, but there's got to be something about this topic as well that may have pulled you in. So, what is it about acknowledgement that got you onto this call? And where would you like to take this call? So, what does acknowledgement mean to you? Like, what made you join this call?
I, hmm, I think we can split the topic of acknowledgement into two different parts. Okay, so what does receiving acknowledgement from another person mean to you?
Yeah.
And then you're like, ah, okay. And then what does acknowledging yourself mean to you? Another, ah, okay. So let's start with self-acknowledgement. Okay, because if you cannot acknowledge you, when someone else acknowledge you, you will not receive. Okay.
Absolutely.
Very often when you go and try to tell someone like, hey, do you know that you are not wrong? You are great. And then they look at you like, what are you talking about? I'm definitely wrong. And you're telling me I'm doing something great. Okay. So
No,
start from
Ryan. The
you
worst is
acknowledging
no,
yourself.
no, 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 Ryan. The worst thing is when you tell someone they're great and they say, yeah, yeah, thank you. But in their head, they're like, oh my God, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's a That's what they call it, a thank you, but actually a fuck you.
Yeah, that one.
Thank you, but fuck you. All right, so everyone, so what does truth, what does acknowledging yourself mean to you? You're like, huh? What is that? Okay. Everything there is, all this energy is like, it's not allowed. I don't know what that is. I've never done that. I don't think I can ever acknowledge myself. I really have nothing to acknowledge about myself. Yes, that one. Will you please destroy and create it all? Right, wrong, good
Yes.
and bad, pop and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So, and then there is the trap here. Okay, and let me explain why it's a trap. So just now I mentioned that you need to be able to acknowledge yourself first, then only you can and receive acknowledgement from other people. But a lot of people function from only if someone else say I'm good, that means I'm good. If I say I'm good and someone else didn't agree,
I'm
I'm
not
just
good.
bullshitting myself.
Yes.
Yeah. So then it's like you don't acknowledge you, you're expecting someone else to acknowledge you while you won't receive. You are forever in that space, in that state of like, no one ever noticed me, no one acknowledged me, no one see all the good things I've done. I might as well just give it up and not do it at all.
And
Everything
actually,
that is,
yeah,
let's
sorry.
let me clear
Go
that
ahead,
first.
go ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
Let's destroy and create all everywhere
Yes.
that you put you in this eternal vicious cycle of never being acknowledged. Will please destroy and create it all.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, puff and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
You know, I have a very interesting story from Gary about this. One of the first few classes that he started doing outside his own city was like coordinated and hosted by this beautiful lady who kept telling everybody that Gary never acknowledges me for all the hard work that I've done. And so, one of the co hosts went up to Gary and said, well, your host is saying that you haven't acknowledged her and she's feeling really bad about it. So he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have already acknowledged her thrice, once personally and twice in public, but she just wouldn't receive it. And they were like, no, but she's complaining. They're like, okay, let me show you this. So he walks up to her and thanks her profusely for putting the class together and how beautifully it's come and how many number of people have showed up. And says that to her and she just nods at him, and in the next second that Gary turned around, she turns around to her bunch of friends and says, see, I told you he never gets me. And the co-host was like, oh my God, I see it now. She just totally couldn't receive it. You can't hear something about you if you don't believe that about you. So everything that you are waiting for someone to say to you that you need to actually hear from you, could you please destroy and create all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shots, boys and beyonds. And also when you're willing to acknowledge you, the need to be validated goes away. The only time you actually need someone else to validate something about you is because you already believe you are not that or you are the opposite of that. So if you need someone to tell you that you're nice, it's because you believe you're not.
And then you will be constantly proving. You have to work hard to prove that.
Yes.
Okay, and whenever someone don't see what you're trying to prove, you will judge the other person or you will judge you or both. It's a vicious cycle.
Absolutely.
I remember
Uh,
this.
I
I
just
like.
wanted to add one thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So the weird thing about like I
Wait.
have
By the way, I'm
recently
used to
noticed.
having women talk over me. Go ahead.
I'm glad he
So
didn't
the
see
weird
Indian women. I'm so glad he didn't see Indian women. But okay.
Yeah, so the weird thing about acknowledgement that I have noticed is even if someone is acknowledging me, I feel that I am not doing something great enough to receive it. Like it's like, okay, I'm doing something, it's so easy. I mean, I don't even know why you are even acknowledging about it. Like, it's is it weird?
So, what about this, everyone? So, what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can you be to, huh, to appreciate yourself like how other people would appreciate you, and see and value you like how other people would value you with total ease. Okay, as a beginning. Everything that doesn't allow that times a gazillion. We will now please destroy and create it all. Right, wrong,
Yes.
good and bad, all and hot, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Ooh, wow. And how often did this happen? When someone acknowledges something about you, in your mind, you're like, oh, you are a liar, you are a liar. You're trying to get something from me. You're only saying that with some agenda behind. You are just trying to make me feel good. Right? So everything that is everywhere that you twisted other people's acknowledgement into that kind of energy so that you can rightfully refuse that. And then you can go back to the same old story of no one notice me, no one see me, no one tell me how good I am. Will you please destroy and create it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pop and pot, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Why a few of you are typing haha? Is that supposedly something funny?
You know how it is, no, when it's light for you, you tend to break out.
Aren't you used to women laughing on you?
Well, he's used to be women laughing when they are on him because he's that good. You're welcome, Ryan.
Okay, so
You totally didn't receive that, but okay.
why did I choose this title tonight?
I don't think it's a problem with the title. I think it's a problem with the co-host.
Okay, that actually got me to become aware of another thing that apparently I didn't receive well, and at the same time, a lot of people didn't receive well as well. Thank God it's not only me. So, how much, how are you, what does receiving acknowledgement from opposite gender mean to you? They want something from me. Okay. Everything that brings up, okay, that has a lot of energy. Will you please destroy and create it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, hot and hot, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Ooh, wow. Whoa. So again, what does receiving acknowledgement from, let's not call it opposite gender, that sounds didn't quite right. Let's call it the other gender. Okay. So what does receiving acknowledgement from the other gender mean to you? All you can think about is they want sex, they want to shag me. Okay, everything that is times a gazillion. We will now please destroy and create it all.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pop and pot, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Someone said a lot. Sometimes someone said sometimes yes, sometimes not. Yeah, it's of course it's sometimes yes, sometimes not. You have to acknowledge when it is a yes and acknowledge when it is a no. Okay, so if you cannot acknowledge it, you will just twist it all into it's all about sex, or you blind yourself to not notice it and to not to see it. Okay, so acknowledgement is actually saying what it is. So you can acknowledge something as bad as well. Okay, so let's say if someone has some hidden agenda toward you, if you can acknowledge that, you don't try to defend against your awareness, you actually claim, own, and acknowledge your awareness. Oh, this is what's going on. This is what's coming to me, coming toward me.
Yeah, and also like how much of it is also like when the other gender actually compliments you, and even if they do want to have sex with you, where do you make it like a wrongness instead of an interesting point of view? And where do you think that just because you're being acknowledged by the other gender, and if they do want to have sex with you, you have to have sex with them? Everything that is, could you please destroy and then create it all?
What?
Right,
Why
wrong,
get to
good, bad,
choose?
oh, did you
I wrong, good and bad, power,
did you want me to repeat that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. So everywhere you give up being the choosing one. At all times you are the choosing one. So even no matter what energy is flowed at you, only if you make it significant or wrong or right can it actually affect you. If it is just an interesting point of view, you can actually allow that energy to just contribute and leave. And everything that doesn't allow that, can you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, poc, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Okay, so what do you have to acknowledge about you for you to be able to deal with whatever coming to you with ease? Okay, any of you here, okay, be real, be honest with yourself, answer from the energy, not from your mind, not from your self-judgment. Are any of you here weak or pathetic? You are not.
Everyone. Everyone, Ryan. What are you saying?
All right. Sangeeta said so. Oh, by the way, we forgot our good cop, bad cop. We haven't done this for so long. I almost forgot it.
I'm
Okay.
being that cop because you're telling everyone they're not weak and all. Of course
All right,
they
all
are.
right, all right, all right. I got my rule wrong. Okay, so I need to bring back the bad cop. Bad cop, where are you? Come back. So, so you see, if you would acknowledge you, meaning you know that you are great, you have awareness, you know how to deal with things. Then whatever comes to you, it becomes easier for you to receive or handle or whatever you need to do. Okay,
But how much
so
easier is it for everyone to acknowledge how wrong they are than what is right about them?
can you repeat that?
How much easier is it for you all, for us all, to acknowledge how wrong we are instead of what is right about us?
What do you mean? What's right about us? Are you
Like you
from
said,
planet Earth?
like you said, like you're potent, you're aware. How many of us ever acknowledge ourselves for that? And how difficult is it for us to do that versus when things don't show up the way we want, or when something goes wrong, it's like so easy, it must be my fault, I'm the pathetic one, I'm the loser. How easy is it for us to acknowledge what's wrong about us than to acknowledge what's right about us? Everything that is, could you please destroy and uncreate it all?
Right, wrong, good and bad, park and part, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Okay, I'm glad it's not just me.
So, okay, I want to go back to that question. So, everyone, please get this. Okay, acknowledge yourself. So, what you don't have to answer us. Okay, if you want to, you can. So, what must you acknowledge about you that if you would acknowledge that you have ease with the outside world, you have ease receiving and dealing with whatever coming your way. Everything that doesn't allow that times a gazillion will now please destroy and create it all.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, part and part, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Guys, notice the space that came up when he asked that question. What must you acknowledge about you that you have never acknowledged about you, or not allowed yourself to acknowledge about you? But if you would acknowledge it, would allow you to receive everything from the outside world. That space that just came up, that is you. Everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive that, could you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right and
Right,
wrong.
wrong, good and
Good
bad,
and
part and
bad.
part, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Hey, I'm your pock and pocker.
Thank you. In more than one ways today.
we need to do more of this so that you don't forget about you have a pock and pocker. Everyone, okay. Do you still remember how you were or how you look, let's say earlier this year, January 1st of 2020? And then compare that with what you are right now. How much have you changed and grow? Or are you more aware now? Are you more capable to deal with different things now? Have you ever acknowledged any of those? Okay. So, and then when I asked that question, I asked you to compare. Okay, so the you in earlier this year and then now. So you realize, oh wow, I changed so much. But after you recognize that, how I would say, how many percent do you really acknowledge? Okay, how many of you have this like yeah, and then you just want to put it aside? You still try to run away from this. Okay, so everything there is everywhere that receiving from yourself, receiving acknowledgement about yourself has been made so wrong, so difficult, so not okay, and something that you must avoid. Will you please destroy and create it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, online, just boys and beyonds. Okay, do you all notice that now the spaces get even bigger now? You're like, okay. That's awesome.
I'd like to add something here. Everywhere you think you have to do something great, something big, something that this reality has decided is good for you to acknowledge yourself, can you please destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine, shots, boys, and beyonds. This year has been exceptionally different. How many of you have acknowledged your adaptability, your strength, your resilience? You didn't give up. How many of you acknowledge that, oh my God, you could just like look at a situation and go like, okay, what do I do to create the best out of this? And you did it. And especially if you have kids who used to be out all day and are home. And I'm speaking from a mother's point of view. So I'm gonna I'm gonna really, for those children who've always been out and now they find themselves stuck and they look at you as though you have to have the answers. How many of you have ever acknowledged you did like, oh my God, such a freaking good job, even not just for yourself, but also for everyone you live with? How many of you have ever given yourself that a few seconds of acknowledgement for being the leader, even in your own homes, in your workplace, if you run a business as a business leader, getting everybody to adapt to that change because you didn't give up, because you were the space? Would you please now acknowledge yourself for all of that? And everything that doesn't allow that, can we please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong,
Right,
good,
wrong,
bad,
good and bad, fine, part, all nine, shots, boys and beyonds. You mean like you survive your kids? That's a great acknowledgement. That's a great achievement.
More than that, I didn't survive it. I actually thrived with my kids, and we all learned something. I think there's a lot that children learned this year. They learned how to be happy without outside. They learned to push their creativity. I think it's been a phenomenal year. I know that my children can go anywhere in the world and they'll be okay because they also learned how to make little sandwiches for themselves. They also learn how to entertain themselves. So I can safely say that, oh, they are really ready for anything in the world now.
Someone said we survived not killing our kids.
Yeah, that too, that too. So everywhere you have acknowledged yourself for not losing the plot and literally killing people, can you please revoke, destroy, and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, with bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds.
Okay, wow. Okay, let's do some, I would say, group acknowledgement. Actually, I did that with my Chinese participants I think last week. So, so everyone get this energy. So what beyond this reality acknowledgement can you give to yourself now? Okay, can you give to yourself and receive from yourself? Okay, you can't just try to give to yourself, but at the same time, you won't receive it from yourself. So what beyond this reality acknowledgement can you give to yourself and receive from yourself now? Everything that doesn't allow that times a gazillion will now please destroy and create it all.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, out and part, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. And then let's spread this energy out. So how much acknowledgement beyond this reality can we be for each and all of us in this Zoom and whoever else just listening or watching in the future. Hey. See, you don't really have words to describe it. It's just a sense of like, yeah, you are here, you're great, like you're not wrong. Yeah. So how much acknowledgement beyond this reality can you be for each and everyone in this Zoom and those who are watching in the future? And also, how much can you receive the acknowledgement from other participants in this class? Okay, you are not just giving and giving and giving. So contribution is simultaneously gifting and receiving. Everything that doesn't allow you to be and receive all of this with total ease, will you please destroy and create it all?
Yes.
Ooh,
Right,
right, wrong, good and bad, hot and hot, all nine short spoils and beyonds. Do you
so with that
notice?
thing that with that
Yeah,
thing
you
that you said, the thing that you said about it's a gifting and receiving universe. So I have a question. For how many of you it's easier to acknowledge others than to receive acknowledgement from others? Everything that is, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyond. So what hidden agenda with giving do you have that does not allow you to ever receive? Everything that is, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So, what hidden agendas do you have with giving, 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 giving that never allows you to receive? And everything that you have done so that no one can perceive, know, be, and receive that about you, can you please destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Cool. Awesome. Yay. Maybe now they'll be able to receive our acknowledgement a little more.
I just now I got the other energy. How often when you acknowledge someone else and then you use that against you, you're like, oh, my friend successfully achieved this. What about me? I'm still wrong. Right? So you see, you acknowledge someone and then you still manage to twist that into something against you. Brilliant. Okay, can you acknowledge this as a brilliance?
Yes.
You don't think it is a brilliance, but it is a brilliance. It is just how you use it. Okay. So everywhere that you are constantly comparing yourself with other people just to find out how wrong you are. Will you please destroy and create it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pop and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
That is also one of the ways that we stop ourselves from receiving, no, Ryan? Because if we could acknowledge someone who is choosing something that is also attractive to us, instead of going like, okay, universe, you know what, I'll have that too, we make it about how we cannot have it, or how wrong we are, or how bad we are, so that we never receive that in our reality, in our universe, in our bodies. Everything that is, can we please destroy and uncreate?
Right, wrong, good and bad, pop and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I want to share something irrelevant, but it just popped into my mind just now when we talk about the gifting and receiving. So I believe most of you, if you have learned BAS, you have heard that BAS is gifting and receiving, right? You give a session, you receive a session at the same time. Many years ago, when I first heard that, I couldn't feel it that way. Whenever I ran someone's BAS, I was like, I'm just giving, I'm just giving, I'm just giving. I'm never receiving, I'm just giving. Okay, so yeah, I think it's not only me. When I just mentioned that story, I can feel that in some of you. So, and then one day I asked Gary, I said like, I don't feel that the gifting and receiving that you talk about during BAS, in the BAS session. And then Gary gave me a clearing. I'm going to use that words, but I will use the new format, the Zeus clearing thing, so that it might help to open up this for some of you, if not all. So what Zeus are you using to create the dominance of E equal MC squared to perpetrate and maintain the lack of simultaneity of gifting and receiving are you choosing?
Wow.
Everything that is times a gazillion. We will now please destroy and create it all.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pop and pot, all nine short spoils and beyond. So how often you feel like I'm either taking or I'm giving? If I'm giving, I make sure I don't receive to make sure that I give correctly. And then, so hopefully this will handle that. So what jails are you? Yeah. What jails are you using to create the dominance of E equal MC squared to perpetrate and maintain the lack of simultaneity of gifting and receiving are you choosing? Okay, it's not only bar session in every area of your life. Everything that doesn't allow that times a gazillion will now please destroy and create it all.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pop and pot, all nine short spoils and beyonds. Maybe the next time when you give a bar session, you receive more. Oops. That will make the bar session way more fun.
You're not supposed to open up like receivings and everything on this. It's a free call, Ryan. Hold your horse.
All right, all right. Sorry, everyone. Sangeeta won't allow me to go further from here.
Like I can. You know, this is what men do. They pretend that women can stop them.
Sangeeta, you never acknowledge what I did for them. You only made me wrong. See, this is what people has been experiencing all the time.
Everything that brought up for everyone, can we please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. So actually, how many people can actually receive from a free call, Ryan?
I don't know. I don't care. So, well, let me write that one more time. So, what jails are you using to create the dominance of E equal MC squared to perpetrate and maintain the lack of simultaneity of gifting and receiving are you choosing? Everything that is times a gazillion will now please destroy and create it all.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pop and pot, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. Okay, I think I've fried everyone. And just now, when I asked all of you to spread out that energy of like you are being acknowledged to, and then the rest of you, how many of you suddenly feel like, oh, okay, your body's got softened. Okay, the tension is gone. You're like, okay, I don't have anything that I must prove. I don't feel that wrongness, that the need to fight. You're just like, oh, okay. So what if you be this for you yourself? So you acknowledge the acknowledgement of you for you. That's the title of this Zoom tonight. So what if you be that for you all the time? Okay, so everything that doesn't allow that, everywhere that you have only been willing to judge you all the time, will you please destroy and create it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pop and pot, all nine shots, boys and beyonds.
I'll tell you the gift of being the acknowledgement for you is that when you acknowledge you for your choices and for everything you be, when someone comes in your energy field, you become the space for them to acknowledge themselves. And you don't even have to say anything. It is like in your presence and in your space, they feel good about themselves. Because that's the space you are being. And you don't even have to say anything. When you are not acknowledging you, when you have a constant need for acknowledgement, there is this energy of taking, because every interaction you have, you're looking for someone to tell you that you're good or that you're nice or that you're kind. And that energy of taking sometimes allows the other person, sometimes in their space it is a cringe, or like they tend to move away. The more you desire some, the more you try to get that validation, the further away it's like it goes or they go. So all the separation you are creating because you're separating from you, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate all of that?
Right, wrong, good and bad, pop and pot, all nine shots, boys and beyonds.
And when you're not separating you, when you acknowledge you, sorry, I'm sorry, I just wanted to
No,
complete
no.
this. When you're not separate from you and you are willing to acknowledge you, then it feels like you're in oneness with everybody. Like people want to spend time with you, people want to be in your energy, people love being around you because they get that to uh, choose beyond that separation. Everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and perceive that, can you please destroy and uncreate it all?
Right, wrong, good
Right?
and bad, pop and pot, online, short boys and beyonds. Now I forgot what I want to say.
I said sorry before.
Now, okay, now it's now I know what I want to say. Okay, so if you would acknowledge you won't. So it ends this constant need of being acknowledged by other people. If other people acknowledge you, great, you can receive, and if they don't acknowledge you, that's fine. Okay. A few years ago, I have one friend that she came to me and then she said like, she felt like she was never acknowledged, and then I asked her like, okay, have you ever acknowledged yourself? And then she was like, no. So she kept seeking validation and acknowledgement from outside. And when you are so desperately needing that acknowledgement from other people, when you don't get it, it feels even more hurt. It was like, ugh, okay. So, and then I don't remember what was the clearing that I gave her. The reason why I'm telling this is because I want to give you that clearing, but it's still not with me now. It's somewhere. Okay, I think I got it. So, what have you made so vital, valuable, and real about being acknowledged by others that keeps you from acknowledging you, for you, and by you, and with you, and as you? Everything that is times a gazillion. Will now please destroy and credit all.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, hot and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So, what have you made so vital, valuable, and real about being acknowledged by other people? No, what have you made so vital, valuable, and real about needing acknowledgement from others? That's it. That keeps you from acknowledging you, for you, by you, and as you. Everything that is times a gazillion will now please destroy and credit all.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pug and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Someone said, wow, that was like creating a big space in me. Thank you. He said, thank you, Sangeeta. What about me? You never acknowledged me. It's only for Sangeeta.
But Sangeeta's only for you, Ryan.
Have you ever seen a man that is so full of jealousy like me?
Let's get Ryan really uncomfortable. This session should have been called How Do I Get Ryan Uncomfortable?
And then from now on, when they want to type something, they have to make sure they type both our names, like Sangeeta and Ryan. Or if they only say Ryan, then Sangeeta, will be pleased.
No, not at all. I'll just kick them off the Zoom. Bye-bye.
All right, so wow. Okay, I think I'm done. Okay, are you done, Sangeeta?
Done too. If anyone has any questions, they can ask us. We still have a couple of minutes. And if not, you can spend the next 4 minutes acknowledging us. We are happy to receive.
Wait. I need to read out something. Okay, so we need to start. Thank you, Sangeeta and Ryan, like all in capital. Right? I receive it.
Well, if nothing else, at least people are afraid of us.
All right. I think that's it for tonight. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, my partner in crime. I keep saying partner in crime, but she keep correcting me as partner in consciousness, which I find it very annoying.
I am your partner in crime and consciousness.
So thank you, everyone. So Sangeeta and I, we definitely acknowledge all of you. The contribution you be, even though you are just watching or listening, because you think, okay, I'm just come here to attend a class for free and listen. Your energy actually contribute to everyone else. Okay, so it's actually your being that is valuable. It's not so much about your doing. If you go into doing, usually you end up judging you as not doing enough or not doing the right thing. Okay.
Yes.
So
And
acknowledge your being.
yes, and it is you being here that allows this call to be what it is. So we are very, very grateful for all of you. And we hope to see you again soon in a totally new avatar. I wonder what this Let's Talk About It episode is going to be in 2021. But we look forward to it. And I totally look forward to creating more with Ryan. And oh my God, New Year, guys. If 2020 was a roller coaster, let's fly into space with 2021. Love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much.
Now I find it really
Thank you.
funny. A lot of them typing my name all in capital.
Thank you. God bless. Blessings.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Thank you so
And,
much.
for some of you that are asking for the replay, I will upload it to my YouTube, so you can go YouTube. But okay, you just go YouTube and you type "Let's Talk About It." You will find a whole long series. I don't know how many have you done, like 13 or maybe something like this. So we have done quite a lot. So on different topics like bars, money, body, earth, whatever else.
And if you love our episodes, please send us acknowledgement separately in capital letters. We love it.
All right. So thank you, everyone. Good night.
Guys,
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so
Happy
much.
New Year, everyone. See you
Thank
next
you.
time.
Thank
you.
you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year to
Happy New Year
everyone.
to you both. Bye.